Today, we're jumping into Dragon Kenpo, a martial art that kind of challenges traditional thinking right from the very first step. We're talking about the yellow belt. So, Dragon Kenpo was basically created to solve a pretty big problem. As the founder, Ed Hutchinson, saw it, a lot of martial arts, doesn't matter if they're hard or soft, they all kind of push their system as the only way. Like it's this sacred, holy thing that you can't question. This leads to dogma, where the master's word is law. So what was the answer to all that rigidity? The Dragon Kenpo Creed. And listen, this isn't just another list of rules you have to follow. It's really the philosophical bedrock for a system that's all about freedom, about encouraging you to ask questions, and really prioritizing your own individual growth over just fitting in. And this quote, this really gets to the heart of the whole critique. You see, so many traditional arts, they want every single student to move in the exact same way, to fit this perfect little mold. Dragon Kenpo's argument is that, sure, you get conformity, but you also build a cage around yourself, locking you out of any idea or technique that happens to be outside that one narrow system. So instead of building you a cage, Dragon Kenpo wants to hand you a map and a compass. The whole point isn't to conform, it's to be on this journey of never-ending exploration. It pushes you to really engage with what you don't know because, hey, that's where the real learning actually happens. Okay, so that's the big idea, the philosophy. But how does that actually work in a real fight? Well, it's all about ditching rote memorization for something way more dynamic and a whole lot more effective. Let's be real, a real fight is just chaos. Dragon Kenpo argues that this whole idea of seeing an attack, stopping to analyze it, and then pulling some perfect, prepackaged technique out of your memory bank, well, it's a fantasy. It totally rejects that memorized response model. Instead, the focus is all on muscle memory, drilling movements over and over until your body just reacts instinctively, kind of like a flow state, without you even having to think about it. Think about it like this. When Michael Jordan's in the zone, he isn't running through a mental checklist before he takes a shot, right? He's running on pure instinct, an instinct built from thousands and thousands of hours of practice. That's the goal in Dragon Kenpo, to build a fighter's instinct so you can adapt and flow, mixing and matching movements as you need to, not just trying to remember a full sequence. And to build that kind of instinct, the system focuses on these core fighting attributes. See, the goal isn't to just collect a bunch of techniques. It's about becoming more ferocious, more confident, more mobile. It's about developing that killer instinct. Because let's face it, without that right mindset, even the best technique in the world is pretty much useless in a real deal fight. Which brings us to the very first practical step on this path, the yellow belt. This isn't just a rank you earn. It's the first set of tools for your big journey. These techniques are the absolute foundation for building that muscle memory and those core fighting attributes we were just talking about. Okay, before we dive into the techniques themselves, here's a super quick but really important guide on how to read them. If you see two moves and they both have the number 1 next to them, it means you do them at the exact same time. This is really key to understanding how efficient these movements are. All right, let's break down yellow 1. An opponent throws a punch at you. Now notice in step 1, you're not just blocking, you're simultaneously stepping off the line of attack and using 2 blocks to first check and then capture their arm. It's an immediate switch from defense to offense, followed by 2 quick kicks to vital spots, the ribs and the knee, and it all finishes not with a big knockout, but with control. Now let's look at yellow 2, a defense against a front choke. Again, just look at the efficiency here. You step back to create some space and generate power, while at the same time striking down hard on the attacker's arms to break their grip. And the immediate follow-up? A devastating double spear hand strike right to the throat. It's simple, it's direct, and it's brutally effective. And finally, yellow 3 tackles an attack from behind. You're being choked from the rear. The very first move uses your body's rotation as you step out into a solid horse stance to drive a powerful elbow right into their solar plexus. That's followed instantly by a hammer fist to the groin and a finishing elbow to the jaw. It's just this sequence of rapid, debilitating strikes designed to completely turn the tables from a really bad spot. So, these first 3 techniques, they're more than just a sequence of moves. To really get what Dragon Kenpo is all about, you have to see them not as something to just memorize for a test, but as the starting point for a much, much bigger journey. This right here is the crucial takeaway. The yellow belt techniques are guides, not hard and fast rules. They're frameworks designed to teach you principles of movement, timing, and targeting. They are the starting line, not the finish line. The goal is to master them, yeah, but then to understand the principles behind them and eventually to grow beyond them. And that brings everything full circle, right back to the core idea of Dragon Kenpo. You see, the system isn't designed to create a bunch of followers. It's designed to create explorers. So the final question it asks isn't even really about fighting. It's about how you approach, well, everything. Are you going to be ordinary and just follow the path that's set out for you? Or are you going to dare to be an explorer?